I've been trying to get Michael into Mastodon for years. They're one of my favorite metal bands. Maybe, just maybe, today could be the day. Welcome to the first metal episode of I Got a Song. And here we are, episode 19, episodio 19 of I Got a Song. This is Clay, and I've got Michael along with me today.
And this is Michael.
How you doing, sir?
I'm doing fantastic. Just got through a great episode. Looking forward to another great one, man.
Well, you know, I hope that this is a great one. If you're listening to us for the first time, I'm about to present a song to my best buddy, Michael. We've been friends for a long, long time, and we like a lot of the same things, but we like some stuff that are very different, too. Mm-hmm. And so I'm going to surprise reveal a song to him today. And if you're joining us, if you've been with us before, welcome back. Michael is in for a surprise today.
Oh,
I think.
I gotta say, it's always a surprise,
isn't it?
And you are so good about just throwing a curveball with your picks, man. It's like, it'll be something that I either, and not all the time. You also pick things that I know and love, but I do before I even say any more about that, I do have to say probably that you were probably responsible for the most like exposure to new music for me, like above everything else. Because like if I'm on Spotify or whatever, I'm usually playing one of my own curated playlists, which won't bring in any new music.
Yeah.
If I'm listening to, I'll occasionally listen to the like satellite radio or something like that, and I'll hear something that I hadn't heard in a really long time or something like that. But
yeah,
the vast majority of new music that I consume comes from you and Chris as well.
Thanks.
So I appreciate that, and man,
absolutely.
I always look forward and it's like I'm not like anxious about what you send, but it's like oh, what is he going to send? Because it's like I just never know. I never know, and
yeah. And we try to keep it kind of varied and everything. But let's kind of get into this episode a little bit here today. We're switching gears quite a bit from our last episode.
Oh boy!
If you listen to them in order. I don't know. I wonder if people are doing that. I think what's probably going to happen is that people are going to say, okay, here's this podcast I found. I'm going to kind of go through this list of weird songs and see if I see something that I know or see a band I know, and I'll just kind of land on that and see what these guys are about. And hopefully we will do that listener justice to the song.
Okay. I will say that I'm guilty of that with just about every podcast that I've come across, where I'll kind of skim the list, unless I just know without a shadow of a doubt that it's going to be one that it's like, nah, I'm starting with this one. Episode 1. I just know I'm going to love it.
Unless it's serialized, you probably kind of scan through.
Yes. I'll skim through. I'll find, if they're interviews, I'll find someone that I'm interested in hearing about. If it's music, it's a song or an artist that I'm interested about or know about.
Yeah.
And if I get in tune with it, then I'll kind of start over and work my way down the list. So yeah.
So I can tell you, I have I'm guilty of it, and I'm not upset for people doing this. I think it's a great idea, and the fact that we can do a lot of different stuff hopefully brings in a lot of different people.
Yes.
So one podcast that I've experienced this with is there's this. I listen to a lot of podcasts whenever I'm at work, and I listen to a few different things. A lot of them are music, but some of them aren't. And one of them is this podcast called Star Trek: The Next Conversation.
Yes.
And so you've got these two guys. One of them grew up on Star Trek. He knows it in and out. And the other one has only seen like the original series, and he had never watched The Next Generation. And that was the premise of the show. And so they called it Star Trek: The Next Conversation. And so so you've got one guy who's a master at it, and he knows everything. And then the other guy doesn't really know. but they're both comedy writers, so it's really entertaining and funny. And you get to be on either side of it. You can be the new guy who's just learning about something, or you can be the pro on something. But so with them, in that context, it's the one guy who's always the pro, but the listener can be on either side. And so what's fun about this is that on each episode, like when I present, I am kind of presenting to you in that way. And then on the opposite side, you're presenting to me as an authority, you know, in that way. And so we get to kind of switch off every time. And that's what keeps it, to me, I think, what keeps it interesting and, you know, fun.
Right.
Okay. Have you ever listened to a song and you're like, yeah, that's a dope song for whatever reason. It moved me. It made me tap my feet. It might have consoled me or something. And then you learned like maybe the story or the context behind it, and it changed it, improved it. Maybe you ever had an experience like that?
Yeah, definitely. God, you got to give me a minute to kind of.
I know it's kind of a difficult. It might be a difficult question to answer.
Any just example right off the bat, but sure, yeah. The first thing that just came to mind. So, like, I know you don't care for this album so much, but the album "Rumors" by Fleetwood Mac.
Okay, talk to me about that one.
Okay, well, you know, just kind of along your line of thought, real quick, because I know we're trying to get into the meat of the episode here.
Just take as long as we want to. I want to hear your story.
Well, it's just that, you know, that album came out, I think, in '77 or something like that. And so it came out before my time. So I picked up on it later. But, you know, the songs are what came to me first. And, you know, I love a lot of songs on that album. And then you dive into the band and their process of recording the album, and you find out how much just strife was within the band while they were recording this song. And like,
interesting,
there's just so much going on internally with the band, yet they held it together to record this album. And you know, it's one of the biggest selling albums in the 20th century. I mean, I don't know where it is on the list, but I mean, it's just sold millions and millions of records, and
yeah,
it's
got it's a big one,
and it's got a lot of great music on it. But then you dive into it, and you're like, how in the world? I came to two realizations. Realizations, I guess, is the best word. It's like, how did they do it without, you know, just imploding and quitting on the whole project? Because that's what people would do today, you know.
That's interesting. See, I don't know.
You hear about the stories between, you know, everything that was going on, you know, within and around the band at the time of the recording and for the few years after when they were touring for it and everything. And it's like, you know, they held it together because they believed in the music over the problems that they were having, you know.
Nice.
And these days, I'm not so sure that there's many bands that could withstand that kind of pressure and internal, you know, struggle.
Wow.
And then put out a product like Fleetwood Mac did with Rumors. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
Is that kind of?
Yeah. That's really interesting insight. Now I got to tell you from my perspective, and you know, gasp, I guess, but I don't know Fleetwood Mac very well. I know some of the big songs, and I know Rumors is the big album, but I haven't done it. If you want to add that to my homework list on our segment, is this your homework, Larry?
Is this your homework, Larry?
Then you can do that if you feel like that's necessary.
Is this your homework, Larry?
Look, man.
Please.
But okay, well that's really interesting perspective. I am going to go ahead and send you this song. If you haven't listened to this before, Michael has no idea what I'm about to send, and I'm sending it to him right now. And so he's gonna tell us what we got here.
All right, I got it.
And we're gonna jump in.
Message from Clay. Let's see what we got. All right, so we've got the band Mastodon, and the song is Jaguar God.
You're damn right it is, buddy. Here we go.
Mastodon. I I knew they had to come up at some point. I knew.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Let's do it, man. Let's do it. I'm ready to rock.
Yeah. At this time, for maximum effect, we recommend you go listen to the song in question before continuing with the episode. From the 2017 album Emperor of Sand by one of my favorite metal bands, Mastodon, that is Jaguar God. How you doing, Michael?
I'm exhausted.
I'm wiped out. We were vibing really aggressively.
In a good way, though.
Really aggressive vibing.
Yeah.
I had a friend tell me that he'd listened to the show and he really wished that he could see us vibing on YouTube.
Oh, jeez.
I think that'd be kind of embarrassing, so we should probably do it someday.
Oh, of course.
Anyway, that was that song was okay. Without looking, can you guess about how long that song was?
Oh man,
who even cares, right? It doesn't matter.
I mean, it went by fast.
Yes.
6 minutes.
8.
8 minutes, really?
Yeah, it's 7 minutes 56 seconds technically.
Wow. Okay, I did not expect it. That's pretty amazing.
But it didn't feel like it, right? By the time we got to the end, and that's
yeah, man.
You're just like, oh.
Okay. All right. Yeah. So here's the funny thing with Mastodon is like, and I think we all have, anyone that's into music probably has one or a handful or several artists that they personally love, and no matter how many times they try to share it with people, it just doesn't ever seem to land. And I feel like Mastodon might be one of those for you. You have tried so hard to get me to into Mastodon over the last few years, and
what's funny thing about them?
Yeah, but the thing is like this is a great song. This is a great song. I'm gonna put it on my playlist because.
What would you use this song for? It's long. It's not Michael long, but it's a long song, and it's. Do you have a certain list that you? I know you make. You're a voracious list maker.
Oh yeah, I am. I've just got like a rock playlist. And
I gotta stop for a second. I just thought of something before I go any further. Everybody, you can pause this episode and go into Spotify and search for a playlist called Mikey's 90s. Yes. No, stop laughing. I want people to hear it. Mikey's 90s.
Mikey's 90s. Yes. And yes is all capitalized.
Now, Michael does not have an Instagram presence or anything like that. I don't either. I'm on there, but that playlist, if you want a little bit of a deep dive into the mind of Michael Long, you hit that playlist. All right, continue what you were saying. I'm sorry,
man.
I could not stop. Yeah, so you said you would put this on what kind of playlist?
I have just a rock playlist, and the name of that playlist. Let me find it here. I call it "Rock for the Ages," and I have
2, which is I love. You have great names for your playlists.
Rock for the Ages, and it's got everything from Led Zeppelin to Smashing Pumpkins to now a song from Mastodon, AC/DC. I mean, it's got hundreds of songs.
Yeah.
And
but you don't put this next to Paradise City or Back in Black.
No. I mean, no. It's different from that. It's not any specific genre of rock. It's just
now. What's interesting about
any rock that moves me, I throw it on this list.
So this gets it. This makes the cut.
I'm going to. I'm putting it on that playlist as we speak.
Now you've only heard it. Cool. You've only heard it this one time. I know I've sent it to you guys before. I know I say that a lot, but but it is a long song, and so I wonder what the skip rate. I know you've only heard it once, but I wonder what the skip rate is going to be like for this because it is so long. If you're wanting to go from Back in Black to Enter Sandman and stuff like that.
No, okay. So kind of per our conversation earlier about consuming new music, it's fresh to me, so the skip rate will be low at first. Yeah. And then after that, it'll be kind of a mood. it'll be
Yeah.
a certain vibe. But at first, I'm gonna give it its due diligence at first.
Yeah.
This will be a song to revisit on. This is your homework, Larry.
It's definitely worth it. And it's an interesting album. It's from 2017, and the question I posed was, does the song improve or change? I'll tell you what's going on in the band at this one is one of the band members is battling cancer at the time, and then one of the other band members' mother had passed away from cancer during this time as well, and so the entire album has got metaphors and terminology throughout the lyrics that relate to that. And if you're into the band, you've probably seen there's like a 12 maybe part documentary about the making of this album. It was really well documented, and if you're into the band, it's essential. It's really great to watch. And this I tried to find in my research. I just tried to find out more about this song, and I tried to find. We're still new at this, and our research methods are changing and evolving, I hope, a little bit. And so one of the things I wanted to do on this one is I was thinking, this is such an epic song. I've got to see a live video of it, and I couldn't find one. But I did find a section of that documentary where they're talking, and this song is playing, and they're in the studio playing it, but they don't they don't really talk about the meaning of it or anything. But what they're doing is they are talking in this particular section of the song. They're talking about, it's the original. I'll just tell you, it's the original 4 members. These guys started in 2000, and they've had the same. They had a singer in the beginning, and he didn't last for very long, and so he left the band. And so now we've got the 4 guys. We've got Troy Sanders on bass, Brent Hines on lead guitar, Bill Kelleher, I think, on guitar, and then Bran Saylor on drums. And did you notice anything? I'm going to stop for a second. Did you notice anything about the singing?
Well, I mean, the singing I was going to make a comment that the singing is what kind of initially pulled me into the song. And he kind of starts off, he's got like this baritone voice, for lack of a better way to put it, I guess. So it's like kind of a lower mid-range tone in his voice. So he's not like, blood-curdling scream. He's not, but he's also not, like Peter Steele from Typo Negative, where he's like kind of down in the bass register,
Yeah.
But he's got this really, really cool for rock voice that sounds, rather unique, I would say. He's not whiny. He's not. He's not nasally. He's not any of that. But like as the song advances, he gets more like aggressive in his vocals.
Here's something interesting to know about Mastodon. All 4 members sing. All of them.
Oh.
Yep.
Oh.
Even the drummer.
Okay.
The drummer has some of the higher end vocals, I believe. Some of the higher end. But all 4 of them sing. So whenever their singer left, they were like, we don't really know what to do. I guess we'll just all kind of try to pitch in and get it done. And that's what they said in a little interview. And so now, whenever you're at a Mastodon show, they've all got mics and they're all singing. And it's dope.
Oh,
and they do different parts. So you've got the roars, and then you've got the higher vocals, and that's really impressive to me. That all 4 of those guys are doing that.
Very unique. That is very unique. That's awesome.
Yeah. So they formed in 2001, and it's been the same guys ever since. And so this that's a little digression, but what I was going to say about during this section of this documentary that I was watching, they were just talking about how the 4 of them are so psyched every day to get to work with one another and collaborate together. And it reminded me of you and me getting to bring a song to one another, because these guys are doing the same thing, and they're going into the studio and they're saying, hey, I've got this piece. And they're like, I'm so excited to hear what Troy brought. I'm excited to hear what Brent brought. and it reminds like, hey, this is kind of perfect because I'm so excited every time we do the show to hear what Mikey's going to bring.
Right.
And I'm excited to hear your reaction whenever I get to bring him to you. But anyway, so that's what, and they describe their relationship as a band like a marriage, and they're all equal partners, and they're all working together. And it sounds like the kind of marriage that most people would dream of. It sounds like everybody is like pretty harmonious. I'm sure that I know there's struggles, but anyway. So yeah, I thought that was really interesting
really cool.
about these dudes.
Yeah, that's very unique, and I had no idea they'd been around that long. I knew they'd been around a little bit, but since 2001, so they've been going for 22 plus years.
Yep. And
Wow.
The first place I heard them was their album. Their debut album is called Remission, I believe, and it's the one with the horse on the front and like its guts are coming out in purple. And they've got really amazing. Yeah. No, I mean it's not. It sounds grotesque. It's not really, but their artwork is like really super cool, and it's got all these mythical beasts and stuff, and they've got this one album called Leviathan that's got like a white whale on it, and the whole thing is like a concept album about Moby Dick and everything, and it won all kinds of awards and stuff. But anyway, like their first stuff is like a lot sludgier, and it's kind of doomier. But this is not quite like that, so they've changed quite a bit. They still have that. They're a real solid metal element, for sure, but they've changed a lot over the years. And I've seen them twice now. First time I saw them, I'm trying to think of the first time I saw them, but I saw them one time. I went so that I could see Russian Circles open for them.
Yes, yeah, I remember you talking to me about that show.
Yes, and I think our friend Father Proteus got to join me on that one. So that was a cool show because first we had Russian Circles on. The middle band was Eagles of Death Metal. And then the third band was Mastodon, and I love Mastodon, and I love Russian Circles.
Talked about Eagles of Death Metal, and
have we? Do we need to?
No, we don't.
No, exactly.
Russian Circles, amazing. Mastodon, I'm sure, were amazing.
Yeah, it was
we'll
amazing.
Stop there.
Amazing. Yeah, I got a sour attitude for about 45 minutes that evening.
2 out of 3 ain't bad.
You nailed it. So, like, do you haven't? You're not familiar with the rest of their catalog? I would assume.
I have to admit, I'm really not. I will say that one of the last times you really shared Mastodon, there was another song. I think it was on the same album because I remember the album cover, but it wasn't this song. But you shared that song, and I remember liking it, but I, regrettably didn't really do much else with it after the first listen that I gave it. But
I'm for sure going to put some of my favorite Mastodon songs in the notes. People who pick the episode because they recognize Mastodon are going to be on board, and I think it's an interesting. I think they're going to say, "What a strange choice," because this is not they don't do a lot of songs like this, and
okay.
Yeah, they're not usually long, but I mean, they're not. I got to admit though, the only albums I really know very well are Emperor of Sand, this one, and then the first one, Remission, and then I know Leviathan pretty well, and there's a few others, but I don't deep dive on these guys like I do. I've started a couple albums before, and I'll go 3 or 4 tracks in, and then I'll kind of move on to something else sometimes. But whenever they hit, man, they hit really hard, and this one right here hits all the buttons for me because, like,
I was going to say, I mean, it hits a lot of my buttons as well, as far as like kind of the build and like the musicality is obviously there because these guys can shred. The drummer was awesome, and the vocal was really good. The vocal is really what pulled me in first, and then of course as they kick into gear later in the song, it's like, God, these guys are just killing it.
And you've got a really great menacing roar in there also to go with So like the first part of it, I feel like it has like different. It definitely has different parts, and while I was listening to the song for like the, I don't know, fourth or fifth time today, I decided I would just kind of make some notes, and I was in the was in the grocery store, and I like pulled off to the side so I could kind of make little notes on the different parts as I was listening to it, and trying not to vibe hard in the grocery store like we were just now, where I'm hitting imaginary symbols and stuff.
Right.
But like the first 2 minutes, it's slow, and there's the acoustic thing. And then part 2 begins, and the distortion rumbles in at about 3:16. And the dark, the vocals start to get dark. And then there's a grinding, and then there's like this first little isolated guitar solo where everything stops at about 4 minutes and 25 seconds.
Oh.
Everything stops, and it just kind of goes. And then it just like goes in full blast, and we're off to the races, right? Right, and it's just like it's going really fast, and then like there's like all these different like solos happening. Have you noticed like there's like more than one?
Yes.
Do you like guitar solos, Michael?
I mean, I love guitar solos when they're not like just. I like well done guitar solos. How about that?
Okay, what do you think about these? Because there's a couple of different ones.
I think these are fine. I'll say it didn't bowl me over like a David Gilmour solo would or something like that. But
what about
the good? I didn't dislike them.
Now there's.
Sorry, was
no.
okay?
No.
It's like you just stopped.
There's a couple of I'm sorry. I'm gathering my thoughts. Okay, so there's a couple of different little breakdowns like that, and then you get this little flange thing, like a big jet plane that goes. And then at 6:05, and that's where they're going. It's right in front of me. They start doing that thing. That is like the greatest part. Where it's right in front of me. That part. It's right in front of me. No. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Anyway, so then there's the slow breakdown, and there's another guitar solo, and it's like this soulful, slow, melodic one, right?
Yes.
And it's just soaring. And so I wrote down, like the words I wrote down are soaring, chills, cold, and that's it. And then 7:15 in the song it starts to end, and I just want it to keep going.
Yeah, and I do have to point out and say that it's cool that you're like taking notes as we listen to the song, because I'm not, I'm ashamed to say that I don't do that, but yet
I just started doing it. I just started doing it today.
Okay, all right. Well,
don't feel bad. It's
maybe,
a new thing.
Maybe I'll start doing that as well.
Yeah, I decided I should start preparing a little bit, like beforehand, because I didn't prepare very well for some of my previous shows. I think it shows.
So, but yeah, thank you for the share, dude. That was would you say that that's like if you were to offer a newbie to Mastodon, kind of like me, would this be generally the song that you would offer? Or
probably not.
Probably not. Wow. Okay. Well, I mean, real quick, would you toss a song out there that someone like me could take home with me, perhaps for my homework, Larry?
Is this your homework, Larry?
I'll say.
Is this your homework, Larry? Is this your homework, Larry?
Look, man.
Do, please.
I'm sorry. That really...
Collect yourself, sir.
Oh, God, I'm sorry.
Just as a side note to all the people listening out there, we are huge Big Lebowski fans, and so we will drop quotes and references all day long to Lebowski, and hopefully you're a fan, and if you're not, well, just hang on.
All right, a couple of the songs that grabbed me early on. Oh, boy. March of the Fire Ants.
March of the Fire Ants.
Yeah. There's
Okay.
another one called Mother Puncher.
God. Okay.
Yeah, those two, they're a lot sludgier, and they're from their first album, Remission. Yeah, those two grabbed me the first. Another one that's I think that one of their biggest ones is called Steambreather, and that's from this album also.
Okay.
Still trying to collect my thoughts there after you cracking me up like that. And then another big one is called The Mother Lode. Those are their big ones. And then Blood and Thunder is another huge one. That one's from the Moby Dick. From Leviathan, which is the Moby Dick themed one. It looks like. But yeah, those are some of the big ones. Yeah, Jaguar God. I think some people who are Mastodon fans are gonna be like, why is he picking this one? Why doesn't he do something like The Mother Lode or Blood and Thunder? But those are the big ones, and I felt like this one right here could just offer up a little bit different kind of discussion.
Okay. Well, I appreciate the share, dog. That was that's a cool song, and definitely a kind of a maybe a not an easy way into Mastodon, but like I don't know, like a gateway song.
I don't know. I don't really know. I don't think so.
But it's what you chose.
I mean,
I like it.
Yeah. I mean, maybe it will be for somebody. I hope it is. I hope somebody's like, wow, I don't know who Mastodon is, but this stuff freaking slaps. I want to dig a little bit deeper into this. I hope that's the case.
Well, I will do that. I will definitely
because
do
we're
that.
such fans. The song isn't going to make the show if we're not a fan of if at least one of us is not a fan of the song.
Of course.
And so yeah. It just starts with one song, man, and it can lead you down all kinds of rabbit holes. Am I wrong?
Excellent.
Am I wrong?
You're not wrong, Clay.
Okay.
You're just a nice guy.
Okay, then. I believe with that will draw this particular episode to. Michael, you got anything else on Mastodon?
No, man. Just that I'm looking forward to giving them.
Everybody's listening. Everybody's waiting.
Finally, giving them the chance that you've been begging me to do for years.
Well, if nothing else, part of my selfish desire to give special songs, with this one, you're forced to listen to it. You have to listen to it. There's no way out of it. Exactly. Which kind of brings me to a special announcement. We're going to be forcing each other into some special episodes here coming up. A special episode called "I Got a Song You'll Hate."
Yeah,
is that what we're going to call
talking about? Yeah, I think so. I think this particular pair of episodes is going to be "I Got a Song ... that you will hate," and I know I already have my song picked out, but it's basically a song that, at least in my case, when I share for Clay, it's a song that I like, that I am quite sure Clay despises, and and I assume that he will return the favor.
Great thing about being having a friend that you've known for so long is you know what they love, but man, you know what they hate too.
Yes. So we're
not going to be vicious, but we are. We love each other enough to bust balls pretty hard sometimes.
Oh yeah, it's going to bust. Oh yeah, and so we're going to be bringing in 2024 in style with two songs that you will hate.
Now, the listener may not hate them. The one I'm going to present to you, I don't hate.
It's very possible. Well, the song I'm presenting you, I don't hate.
Okay.
I won't necessarily go so much.
But you're pretty sure I'll hate it.
I love it, but I do like it, and I know that you do not like it.
So if that's enough of a teaser, so yeah, be on the lookout for that. Okay, and with that, without further ado, ladies and gentlemen, be sure to take your vitamins and say your prayers. And music is a gift, so share generously. Generously.
Yes. Thanks for listening.
Yes, have a good one. Thank you, Michael. Bye-bye.
Yeah, bye-bye.
Hey, we really appreciate you listening to the show today. If you enjoyed it, feel free to listen to the rest of our catalog and share it with your friends. Go ahead and follow us. And you can find me on Instagram at Clay Dang Collins. Thanks a lot. We'll see you on the next one.